Hi there guys, another episode from your Technologically Inept Foods teacher. So I am today demoing how to use your basic sweet dough recipe that I demoed in the how to make in the last episode. I'm demoing for you how to shape that into what I call a jam blossom, which is essentially a six petal flower. Okay, so take a look what I'm doing. So I've got my dough here. I rested my dough for about 20 minutes. It really grew up nice and big. I punched it down. You want to start in a circle. Okay, so when you're shaping, you got your rolling pin. You press it down 3 times this way. You press it down 3 times this way, and you're already starting in a really nice circular shape, which is going to make it really easy for you to roll out. So I'm going to roll this into a nice big circle. Now, you're going to need, if you don't have a counter scraper, you can, again, like I said, you can use an old credit card or an old debit card or an old card that you have in your wallet. You're going to need a pastry brush for later when we brush it with an oil wash. And you're going to need a pizza wheel if you have one. If you don't have one, you can use a butter knife. That's fine. Just be careful of your counter. You know, you never want to cut on your counter. So use a pizza wheel just as we do at school if we've ever made bread together. Okay, so what I've got here is a decent sized circle. So the first thing that you want to do is we want the petals to stay intact. So what I do is I put a custard cup in the middle. Okay, so this is going to be the center of our flower. Now I want to score. So scoring is marking without actually cutting through the dough. And I need, if I want 6 petals, then I need to have 6 roughly the same size pie pieces. Okay, so if I'm happy with my 6 scored pieces, then I can proceed and actually do the cutting. So for the first section here, so you actually need to know how to do a 3-strand braid for this. So you're going to cut this. You want to make sure that you don't cut the middle piece off, you keep it intact. So we're going to do a 3-strand braid. So how do you do that? So you have a center piece and you have 2 outer pieces. And you're going to alternate over the center piece. So this is my new center. Now I'm putting this one over the center, this one over the center. You want to make sure it's nice and tight. And we're going to braid all the way to the end. Okay? And you're going to do this with each section. Okay? So I'll do it with all the sections. Łukasz, siadaj. Siadaj. Then we're going to do each of the sections, braid it really nice, like this. Okay guys, just come and get the chicken nuggets. I've got a bunch of kids that I'm taking care of in my house. There's 2 chicken nuggets left and they're desperate to get them, so they can't wait. They also want to be in the video, so I'm braiding all my sections. Quickly come and grab the nuggets. Go sit down, guys. No problemo. Lucas? Yeah, share your nuggets, right? Sharing is caring, as we always say. So I'm going to cut the other pieces. I'm going to do a 3-strand braid. Okay, you want to kind of bind it at the end. And bind them at the end. And then we're gonna bind this one at the end. So now you're gonna have something that looks like a 6-legged octopus, which is exactly how it should look. Now we're gonna go on to the next part of the shaping because this is not how we bake it. Okay. So I've got some jam. Now you can use whatever jam you had. I just bought a homemade jam that was really, really thick, and so I just wanted to make it a little thinner, so I heated it up and added a little bit of water into a pot so it'd be a little bit easier for me to handle. So I've got some strawberry jam. You can use whatever kind you want, and I'm going to put it on each strand like this. Okay? it on like that. Okay. Okay.
They split it.
Alright, so I'm gonna just put it on like this.
Okay.
Alright, so now each of these buns, what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll them up nicely like this, and then we're gonna lay them on their side. Roll it up nicely like this, lay it on its side, okay? And then they're gonna bind together like this, okay? Once we have all of this section done, and they're all rolled up, and we get this onto our prepared pan. So your pan, in terms of preparation, you wanna throw on a Sil-Pat, which is a silicone pad, or a piece of parchment paper to prevent sticking, okay? Never put wax paper in the oven. So now we've got something that looks like a little blossom. Now the trouble is with the transfer. So I've got my pan here, and now I gotta do the transfer. So bring your pan really close up if you can. I'm gonna take out the little custard cup here. And if it's, just make sure it's not stuck to the counter at all. I just give it a little nudge to make sure nothing is stuck. Now I grab my blossoms, and I did not do that very well, but that's okay. I'll just re-roll it up. Fine, fine, she's fine. Okay, and anyway, this is all baking together. All right, sorry, not a great transfer, not my best, that's okay. Okay, and make sure all the blossoms are kind of touching each other. Now, I'm gonna let this basically counter rise for about 20 to 40 minutes so that it gets really nice and fluffy before I bake it at 375. You have the recipe for the jam blossom on the drive included with this video, so make sure you use the appropriate time that it says. Now, in terms of what am I gonna wash this with, a lot of people usually use an egg wash, but with this sweet dough, I really like to use an oil wash. So just use some canola oil, vegetable oil is fine. And when you use this oil wash, it gives it a really nice golden brown finish. It's really, really nice. And then after, when I do the last part of this video after I bake it, I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna just put a little bit of a glaze on it. And I'll do that in another tiny short video that I make for you guys. And I'll attach it to this one so you can see what it looks like at the end. So the rest of the jam, eventually after it's cooked, I'll put the jam in the center and it'll look like this beautiful blossom. Okay, let's stay tuned for the last part of this recipe.